Trump, let's move to him. He participated in 2 town halls yesterday. One was with Fox News. It was a Fox News women town hall. It does appear, by the way, from Michael Tracy's reporting that a lot of these ladies were like pro-Trump already.
They were like Republican activists.
You know, this has been a real issue. I just want to say this at the top because all of these town halls, so Univision did a town hall with Kamala a couple of days ago. There was actually not that much that came out of it. I listened to most of it. And I realized why. From what Tracy said, because he was in attendance, is that most of those people were basically like organized by some Democratic cutout group. Same thing on this one. And then, by the way, there was another Univision town hall just last night with Donald Trump, where apparently it was the same thing, where a lot of these people were actually paid to attend.
They did.
And so, I mean,
they used a modeling. This is all Michael Tracy. The audience members were paid by a modeling agency that contracted with the
so anyways, the point is, like, you know, even these town halls are becoming a total farce. But regardless, we got some things that are out of it. Here is Donald Trump answering a question on immigration. Let's take a listen.
Dear President Trump, thank you so much for everything you have done for this country.
Thank you.
You fight for us in the past. You are fighting for us right now, and I know you will fight for us in the future.
Thank you.
My name is Tran Minh Nguyen, and my family escaped the communist Vietnam 30 years ago. And this is my question for you. America is a land of opportunity, and its policy welcomes immigrants legally. How different is your policy versus Harris when it comes to securing our borders and only accepting people to U.S. without causing any issue to our country?
Yeah. On the borders?
Well, and people coming legally.
Yeah. We want to have as many people come in as possible, but they have to come in legally. We don't want murderers. We don't want drug dealers. We don't want human traffickers. We don't want people from prison that are being let out after murdering somebody.
All right, just took a lot of shots at Kamala, so now it's Trump's turn. This is basically in total violation of everything Trump has previously said ever on immigration, including all of the people who work for them. Why do I know this? Because I literally cover the White House, and I also know a lot of these people. So I know that if any Democrat said this, that they would freak out. But this is pure. If you want to really look at Elon Musk's like major contribution to Donald Trump, I would put this all the way up at the top for the all-in and Elon Silicon Valley support, because this is a classic Silicon Valley talking point. We have to have as many people who come in as possible. We just have to secure our border. I mean, that is like the previous. That's like a 2020 Democratic Party position on immigration. And part of the problem for a lot of Republicans is there are not people who have any like credibility on the issue with the base, or frankly on anything, to be able to call Trump out. There's no internal policing on this literally that exists. The money is behind it, and a lot of the immigration people just, I mean, look, I get it to a certain extent because they're like, I think the Democrats would be worse, so they just don't say anything. But you know, if you're gonna police, like for example, I know J.D. Vance doesn't agree with this. I know for sure he's never said anything like this in the past. But a lot of the people who are on the Republican side, they just let a lot of this stuff slide. I think it's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, look, if his position is genuinely like, he said what?
Let as many people in as possible. That's an insane thing to say as a Republican who is an immigration restriction. That is literally an insane thing to say. And for everybody out there who's like, we support high-skilled immigration and all that, even people who support high-skilled immigration support caps and numbers of what that should look like. First of all, Trump has not even said anything about high-skilled immigration in the past, except what did he say? He staple a visa to every PhD in the country. Sounds like a real genius money laundering operation for every university. But okay,
I support it.
Move past.
I support that.
I know you do. That's my point.
I support the let as many people in as possible.
That's my point. But this is crazy. If you really believe in immigration restriction, this is a horrible thing for the country. Especially, this is the basic position of comprehensive immigration reform, which is legalize everybody here and then just throw it all wide open.
Yeah, but he still wants to do the like, you know, mass deportation, you know, round everybody up in every town, including some of the people who are here legally, like the Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio,
expires
et cetera.
in 2025, so let's see, are they going to go back?
So in any case, it's not like he's gone soft on these things. It's just, you know, after his, what do you call it, like very bloody immigration roundup, that then I guess at least an answer to this woman who is herself an immigrant. He says we should let as many in as possible. Who the fuck knows what this man wants to do or what he really means? It's just, it is, I think your point is the most important one, which is the people who claim their whole politics around immigration restriction. I am not one. The people who are on that side, they will hear this and they will say, not that's word.
Well, that's what bothers me, is that Trump
because it's a cult of personality, ultimately. That's what it is.
It has to be called out, no matter, and especially allegedly, by the so-called leader of the party, because these things do matter. Look, I get we're in a nothing matters era, but that actually is the default position of the old school GOP, of which Trump has always claimed to move past. So which is it? And I do know that Trump in particular this time around is much more amenable to whatever the highest bidder wants him to do. And a huge amount of his new Silicon Valley money, this is the position that they have. So yeah, I think the main point is that amongst actual immigration people, I see very, very few who are actually attacking Donald Trump. I get it, yeah, maybe it'd be better or whatever, but that doesn't mean that you want the Let's standard bearer to have this position. Let's move on to IVF. Trump has told this story before. I've heard this, but it is one of the most wild twists and turns and actually great insight into how he makes decisions. So I just talked about how he's impressionable. It depends on who he's talking to, regardless of how he arrives. So here is the backstory on how Trump arrived at being pro-IVF. Let's take a listen.
I got a call from Katie Britt, a young, just a fantastically attractive person from Alabama. She's a senator. And she called me up emergency. Because an Alabama judge had ruled that the IVF clinics were illegal and they have to be closed down. A judge ruled. And she said, friends of mine came up to me and they were so angry. I didn't even know they were going, it's fertilization. I didn't know they were even involved in it. Nobody talks about it. They don't talk about it. But now that they can't do it, she said, I was attacked. In a certain way, I was attacked. And I said, explain IVF very quickly. And within about 2 minutes, I understood it. I said, no, we're totally in favor of IVF.
Right. So Katie Britt, the attractive senator, called him and talked about how women came up to her in church and told them about how they were using IVF. And they, based on that, is the only reason they decided to change on the subject. I mean, look, I'll take it, right? I think it's a good thing. But it's one of those where the incoherence of a lot of the GOP's ability to handle this issue comes to light, where, they get stumbled into things where you have this evangelical based part of the party who, look, I guess to their credit, they really do believe in banning IVF and at least some of them in banning IVF or in making sure that abortion is completely illegal, in all cases. And then they are stuck with the political consequences of what has been a disaster for the GOP electorally. I mean, we're going to talk in a bit about what the new electorate may look like based on some initial projections of early vote, etc. And it's I can't even begin to describe how much abortion dramatically changed the landscape. It's so remarkable. I knew it was going to be something, but to think it would realign almost everything and be the primary reason that a lot of women are going to vote, I would never have predicted that. And yet it has. So this is a good view into they really don't know how to handle it. It's everybody wanted Roe versus Wade to be gone. It's not really. And then now it is gone. It's and actually it's a good thing, for the state. It's just all over the map. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Is the main thing.
Well, I was saying with Kamala Harris, in certain questions, there just isn't really a good answer for her. And this is a question for Donald Trump.
There is no.
There is no good answer. Because also, he has the reality to contend with that his justices that he handpicked and put on the court with the, direct intention of overturning Roe versus Wade, this was the logical consequence of the actions that he himself took, number one. And number two, when Democrats have brought up let's protect IVF bills at the federal level, last time that this happened, all but 2 Republicans voted against it, and J.D. Vance just didn't come, so he didn't have to take a vote either way. So, he wants to position Republicans as the party of IVF, and himself as, what do you call himself, the king of IVF
or something like that. Father of fertilization.
The father, right.
Listen, he's got children with 3 different women, so in some ways he's not wrong.
People are just not really going to buy he's the one to protect women's rights. And as I said, I can't really give him I can't really coach him on a better answer, because I don't really think there is one, given the actions that he's already taken, given his coalition. And, you know, he's very fortunate that there aren't more pro-life leaders and voters who are as critical of him as like Lila Rose was when she talked to us on our show. You know, they've largely given him a pass on this too, so that gives him the freedom to go out there and be like, oh, IVF is wonderful, and of course I love IVF, and of course it should all be left to the states and all of these things. But yeah, it's just a losing issue for them, period, you know, bottom line, end of story, because it's not really a political framing issue at this point, it's a reality issue, and people are very set on how upset they are about the changed landscape of rights that they previously enjoyed.
Absolutely. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.